Greetings, peace, peace. Let me speak about this masterpiece you see before me. I know you're wondering, like, what? What is the significance of this? So let me express this to you. A lot of which, so many things are going to be unveiled and revealed in these moments. Notice the big head, the statue. And those that aren't familiar, this is the Olmec or the Olmeca Toltecs, that these giant heads were found, or predate actually, were found in the what is known today as the Mexico, or modern day Mexico. These giant heads were also found in Oklahoma, which again, a lot of these names or states as you see now were not the same as it was before. So you notice the lips of the statue. Research Olmec or Olmeca. So the funny thing about all of this is, this would be like described as me in a meditative state. And then you see all the different shades of people, or the monk, the little child. And then over here, this is Dogon, the Dogon tribe. So I'm going to elaborate more, express more about the Toltec or the Olmeca. That's Olmec, Olmec or Olmeca. So these statues, when you research it, some of these statues actually they will have braids, or they will have hair such as this. So gonna, shake it up a little bit, break the mirror, the illusion people have been living in. Scientifically, you can create this and get this and this color and that color. But from this, you cannot create something darker. Scientifically, a dominant gene which is darker, XX chromosome, XY chromosome. It's genetics. So again, these statues, or these huge monuments or statues that were found, you're not going to hear people come out and say, oh, the original origins of the Americas, or Mesoamerica, or Colombia, or a lot of these places where you see a lot of pyramids, or you see a lot of ancient civilizations. Some people talk about the Mayans or the Aztecs, but you hear very few people talk about these people. Again, look at the lips. Okay, so the whole gist of it all is this. When you look into the indigenous, Google all these old indigenous people everywhere around the world, you will notice China or Mongolia has people that are darker than me. They had emperors that were darker than me. You have Aborigines in Australia that were darker than me. You have people here in the so-called Americas that were darker than me. If you Google the actual indigenous, or what they call Native Americans to this world, or to this land, which again, these names were titles and given to people. So this is why, and I find it so funny, it's like, why you don't hear people, natives, actually speaking on the fact that their ancestors were darker. This is one thing I'm like, okay, why do y'all don't speak about that? Where everybody speaks about, oh yeah, we're one human race, we're all together. But why? You notice that the world doesn't really acknowledge. You have so many people that are fighting or pushing this narrative that they don't acknowledge that the origin, when you look at the word origin or original people of the planet or this earth, were darker shades of people, meaning that they could survive anywhere on the planet, being that they are the children or people of the sun. It's not, and again, we all come in different shades, but it's now what we're going to see unfold and unravel is that you have to notice how the world has treated, mistreated, and abused and neglected the original people of this world or this planet or the so-called true how can I say the true indigenous or tribal people or tribes of Israel, the original people of this land. And so when I'm posting stuff about how like when I'm traveling, it's not just traveling. I'm also connecting to the land. I'm also connecting to like where, as I'm doing this, my ancestors are and spirit guides are guiding me. So even to where I'm at now, it's things that I learned how recently, how a place that I went to where I grew up a lot, and right in North Carolina, a lot of these country places, and I'm learning how they had you may know it as Indians or natives, but they have there's a lot of burial sites, or some may know as cemeteries. A lot of stuff you will notice that it cannot be touched or it cannot be destroyed. And I know that it's due to divine or spiritual protection, because a lot of things, again, some stuff has been buried or carried up or covered up. But a lot of these cities or small towns, again, you have to realize that a lot of stuff is the documentations, which I done my research on. And I always encourage people is that, and this is going to help everyone. It's not so much of who's a dominant gene or who's superior or who's this. It's so much of the healing that is happening through our lineages, through ourselves, and throughout the world. A wise man shared with me is that people should have knowledge of, I want to say 6, 7 to 8 generations prior in their past, so that they have knowledge or, to lay out the blueprint moving forward for 6, 7, 8 generations, in the future. Let me say this shit right here. People are so distracted with money. People are so distracted and so attached to this material stuff that has no value. And when I mean value, it's like, what are you doing to bring forth generational healing, wealth, prosperity, abundance, awareness for the future generations? It's to why you see kids in this masterpiece. And then when you begin to learn the knowledge of how you came to be and how your ancestors went through so many spiritual warfares or so many physical and traumatic experiences up to this moment, for you to have knowledge of your past so you don't fall victim to your future. And so I actually went to I would go places like where they have a lot of places where you can go research like archives, not just looking it up online, but going to these courthouses where again, when you go there, a lot of documentation is hidden. And it's not so much of hidden, but this is where they have placed the information. I actually went there, and I actually went to a place where a lot of my family are from. And cause you know what, matter of fact, I'll share this with you because some people may know, but it's called Anson County Archives or something. I went there, and it's just amazing how the brother I met. Again, when some people look at him, they will automatically say he's white or Caucasian, whatever. I don't care for that. But it's amazing to me how he said what he was doing and how people did not like how he were shedding light on how people need to learn about, okay, you know your cousins is not just this. But the amazing part about this is that the information that I found out, and it helps me to not freaking look at the fact of like, to not be ashamed of what I look like, or be ashamed of who I am, or be ashamed of my people, or be ashamed of anyone, or what has happened up to this moment. That being said, because you know what? I'm going to actually continue this video because I know I got to delete something. So I'm going to return to this. I love you. Peace and love. Blessings.